I recently had the opportunity to interview Oren Soffer, the cinematographer on Gareth Edward's latest sci-fi film, The Creator. I reached out to him via email, hoping to learn more about what it was like working on his first major studio production, as well as his process and perspective on the craft of cinematography. The Creator is not your typical blockbuster. The film was produced on a budget of just $80 million and shot on the Sony FX3, a digital cinema-grade camera that you can buy right now for under $5,000. What's most surprising is the fact that there are films and even TV shows nowadays that still look amazing, but carry much higher budgets. Director Gareth Edwards also made it his mission to shoot as much of the film on location as possible, while still being able to create a grounded and visually stunning sci-fi world. Thanks to having a talented crew, award-winning visual effects from Industrial Light and Magic, and ultimately staying committed to a creative vision. When I asked Oren Soffer about his time working on the film, he said that, quote, "We didn't take any special steps to adapt to a smaller scale production, simply embraced our limitations and figured out what we needed in order to make the approach work for us. All of us on the crew had experience working on smaller scale indie productions prior to this film, so we drew from that experience for this one. My favorite part was the collaborative process and working with the crew and other department heads to create an original sci-fi world." When I asked Oren how he was able to achieve the immense scale of this film, he said that, quote, "In order to sell the sense of scale, you just need to show something at a scale we're familiar with, compared with something much larger. Looking at Gareth Edwards' other films, like 2014's Godzilla or Rogue One, you can see this same methodology being applied, and that's one of the reasons why these films are still celebrated today." I then asked Oren to describe how he shoots a scene, and what it's like working with a director as well as the lighting and art department. Filming a scene begins with planning. Discussions with the director and art department on plans for what to do with a space, whether a set's being built, we're shooting on location, to how the location will be dressed, etc. Lighting then comes into play. After discussions with the director on how we want a scene to look and feel, I'll come up with a lighting approach and create a plan. Many of the scenes in this film were lit by bouncing light off a surface, with that reflection creating the illusion of direct lighting. On the actual shoot day, we block the scene with the actors and make any lighting adjustments necessary to accommodate the blocking. Mostly, the shoot day itself is just about executing the plan we've come up with in prep. My next question was, when you're done filming and you're looking back at all the different takes, how do you know when you get the shot and you can move on? You have to trust your gut instinct. You can never truly know, just hope that you have enough options and move on. You'll only truly know when you're in the editing room. I also asked him how the rise of digital cameras impacted him and his opportunities as a filmmaker. The digital revolution in filmmaking has opened up many opportunities for filmmakers such as myself who grew up outside of the industry without access to professional filmmaking tools. Specifically, the advent of DSLR cameras that could shoot video around 2008-2010 was a big lifting of the barrier for entry for filmmakers like myself to begin our professional journeys. In his time as a cinematographer, Oren Soffer has worked on numerous short films, commercials, music videos, and feature films. But he's most proud of the narrative projects, shorts and features that have a real heart and clarity of vision. When I asked him what his most challenging production was, he said, quote, "Every production is challenging in its own unique way. It's hard to pick one in particular, but if I had to, it would be The Creator, simply because it was a project at a scale and scope I hadn't worked in before, which was a new challenge for me. Thankfully, all that hard work has paid off, because The Creator is an absolutely gorgeous piece of cinematography." Oren also had some wisdom to impart to any of the aspiring filmmakers out there when I asked him, what are some mistakes you've made that have allowed you to grow and become a better filmmaker? Too many to possibly mention or chronicle here, but every little mistake contributes to your growth and betterment as a filmmaker. Making mistakes is a vital part of the learning process, and we all do it. Well said, and still very true as I continue to develop as a filmmaker myself. Although there was intrigue behind the use of a prosumer camera on The Creator, myself included, Oren Soffer said that it's arguably the least interesting aspect of the film, and that in terms of gear, quote, "I don't have favorites, just the right tools for the right job." During production, a compact, lightweight digital camera like the FX3, capable of shooting in extremely low light conditions with its ISO range of 12,800, provided greater flexibility to a smaller, more mobile crew. Ultimately, it's not about having the best gear. It's about knowing how to get the most out of what you've already got. Whether that's an iPhone, a Canon DSLR, or a Sony FX3. on a gimbal.
And I think that's what makes great cinematography. It's having that creative vision, that idea, and getting the right tools in the hands of the right people.
Shout out to Oren Soffer for taking the time to answer my questions and be a part of my senior project. This was my first time doing an interview, and it was such a great experience. Feel free to leave any questions you have for me or Oren in the comments, and until then, my name is Theo, and I hope to see you whenever I feel like making a video.